Now, when it comes to Lil Wayne, all hip-hop is completely baffled by the atrocity of a record that he has released in the Carter 6. 6? Well, wow. If you are ready to get answers on how Wayne just destroyed the Carter series and released one of the most hated albums in years in all of hip-hop, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And now, within all of the outrage from the release of the Carter 6 and all of the conversation it started, when you look beyond the elephant noises as Super Mario underground level type beats and putting a Maria over 808s with how this album was made and with what Lil Wayne was trying to achieve from a T9 too. Well, as he just had his launch show for the Carter 6 with a concert that was held at none other venue than Madison Square Garden. Wayne revealed to us the full picture of why he made this album the way he did, and as a result why it is now failing. As bad as we have all seen it, and really when we find out the truth of why this is, well, Kendrick Lamar and the Super Bowl really have caused crash in the rap game like we have never seen anything close to. And now before we go any further into all of this, make sure to leave that like and subscribe if you have not already. And now, as this album has really just changed the perception of Wayne, and its failure is derived right off of moments that shifted the genre, and at the end of the day made Kendrick Lamar ascend more in the rap game than we have really seen any MC ever. Leave that like so all of hip-hop can see where the Carter 6 went all wrong. And now, with that said, when it comes to Lil Wayne, when you really try and sit down and process the absolute abomination of an album that we have all been collectively baffled by, with the Carter 6.6 well L on first impact, it's easy to get lost within the mess of noisy and chaotic beats and the outdated bars, and from there, just stop and walk away. In confusion, which is what I think we all did when faced with such ridiculous things as the tracks Peanuts to an Elephant. Well beyond the confusion when you actually track the creation of the Carter 6. The recent turn Lil Wayne has taken in his career, both creatively and in terms of the people he works with, and of course. Line this up with the biggest beef in hip-hop ever with Kendrick Lamar and Drake. And of course, the after effects of that, which ended up affecting the Super Bowl, and so much of what Lil Wayne was trying to achieve in this window. Well, with all of that, what we can start to see is that really where this album went wrong and where Lil Wayne shifted a gear that clearly was for the worse and not for the better, was exactly on September 8, 2024, which was the day that, if we all remember, Kendrick Lamar announced that he was going to be the first solo headlining rapper to ever do an entire Super Bowl halftime show by himself. And now, no matter how we want to put it, and how Wayne tried to revise history, we saw all the posts, whether it was the Super Bowl, or even when GNX dropped, Wayne did feel a way about all of this and Kendrick Lamar. And even if he was not actually mad at Kendrick, he clearly was very frustrated by this entire situation, and as a result, this all tried to make him prove something personally as an artist, which was that his performance, ability, and catalog was Super Bowl worthy and that it could be really played in the most prestigious of musical settings. And now if you don't believe me, let's just look at some of the major stops Lil Wayne has made to prove this, which has literally tied right into the rollout of the Carter 6, because after his so-called Super Bowl snub, in his eyes, as Wayne did get to work in terms of rollout of how he was trying to present himself, which all centered around being in some of the most prestigious circles and venues that you could possibly be within the music industry. And now the first thing that Wayne did to do this was perform on one of the biggest TV broadcasts of 2025 that was not the Super Bowl, the Saturday Night Live 50th Anniversary Special, where he did a very unique set during the 3-hour show, with the Roots playing alongside him, and now alongside a big TV event like that. And within that SNL show, everybody who at least knew the story of what was going on with Lil Wayne could at least tell that he was trying to show that he has improved as a performer. Well beyond that, with Wayne choosing to play at Madison Square Garden over something like an arena within his hometown of New Orleans to celebrate the release of the Carter 6 that tells you every single thing you need to know about. Wayne trying to cement himself in this bigger light with more flash, because you don't book the world's most famous arena and neglect your home city for a moment like this if you weren't aiming to try and make a play to be a superstar again at this point in your career. And now, when we look at the Carter 6 itself, when you listen to the album and see the way Wayne failed, exactly, him swinging and missing the way he did only further confirms that he was trying to make an album that was aiming to take over the charts and just control every corner of the music world from pop to rock to rap. And again, all in this too ambitious and poorly guided attempt to be all over everything in this revenge tour over not getting the Super Bowl. And being the face of all of the fake outrage when it came to trying to take away Kendrick Lamar's moment at the show itself. And again, when you look at what Wayne did with the Carter 6 track by track, he tried to hit all the beats to have an album that controlled radio and all of the streaming charts. As within the hip-hop genre itself, Wayne tried to make a song that newer fans would enjoy and stream with Big XX, the plug, in the hip-hop track. And then he made another clear attempt at a he-t-t-t, but for the old heads, this time E, on the radio, by literally naming and sampling the song after one of the most iconic tracks. It's the radio station of the same name, and the guy who founded it in none other than LL Cool JJ, with the song Bells, which is S, of course, he trying to ride the wave of Rock the Bells and win over people with that good old nostalgia. And now for Wayne, exiting hip-hop and getting into these other spaces. Swell, Wayne really thought he was going to make the biggest hits he had in years, with some of the other songs that he had to clear for samples on this thing, GE, like Island Holiday, Y, which samples Weezer's iconic track Island in the Sand, D, The Days with Bono from YouTube, E, which again, N, as we saw, W, Wayne and his team send this track to ESPN and ABC for the NBA Finals. S, it's so clear that they wanted this thing to be another big radio song, Du Jour, and then also the song with Jelly Roll. Follows right in line with all of this and the trend of old rappers just trying to do something that is so clearly an indicator that they are watched and that they do not understand the music industry. Which is just to think that A Jelly Roll feature is going to save a song and make it a hit in the first place. And then with the A Maria song, G, which is just an atrocity to music, somebody really sat down and thought, let's take an A Maria and put a trap drum over it. D again, with Andrea Bocelli singing in the background. It is clear that they were trying to make that bigger than just an album track, although it of course failed. And now, with all of these specific songs, when you look at all of them and see how Wayne was trying to expand, Wayne really was trying to make a record that he believed was going to take over the summer and be all over everywhere you went. But why this really failed, and why every single one of these songs is pretty much bad, and at the worst is even unlistenable, is because of the fact that with the entire Carter 6 album, which in of itself was made the way it was as a knee-jerk reaction to not getting to Super Bowl and then wanting to show the industry that you can still be the top rapper and hip-hop artist in the world. Well, when trying to make a 19-track experience that does what the best rappers do, which is facilitate culture and just capture a magic through music that only few other geniuses could ever even come close to on the highest level. Well, Wayne tried to take what he thought were trends and styles that would mesh well with his rapping to make something bigger. But, again, as Wayne has not really tapped into the culture or the music scene and what is actually going on within hip-hop or really anything for the most part, T. Wayne's trends and ideas of what would work are stuck in like 2010. And this is why he is still trying the rap-rock crossovers. And this is why we are seeing a song with Wayne and Bono in the Big 25. 5. And why, overall, this record feels so dated because, really, with this thing, Wayne is not functioning like a veteran rapper who is creating his own drum and path and is just showing everyone what that looks like. But this album is functioning as Wayne chasing trends that he believes are big and important. But what Wayne does not realize because of who he is and how out of the loop he has always been, is that the trends that he is still chasing on a path have not been run on by anyone else in over 15 years, and nobody even cares to see what it would look like now. W. And really, with this now, W between hip-hop as a genre reaching a point of real change, finally with Kendrick Lamar's run and all of the stakes around this record itself, heck, well, L, with the bar just getting higher and higher, R, the music has failed. So badly on the Carter 6.6, and people are just baffled that the phrase go hard or go home has never meant more when it comes to new rap releases. Yes, this was Wayne's idea of coming in so hard that he hyped up that he was a monster and a giant, and that he was going to take over the rap game with this record at one point, and he did so many things within the rollout to try to indicate that this was the truth. And now, in addition to all of its failures musically, as with Lil Wayne's pen game, which again you could say for some MCs is a universal skill, because if you were at least saying something of decency, people may still connect. With the record, despite how horrendous it actually is musically, with Lil Wayne saying nothing here, like he pretty much has always done, and no with the word, play slipping, and being bad, maybe because he was too busy getting the elephant feature, or speedrunning Mario World for inspiration for the production. Well, people have now realized that the way Wayne has been gassed up lyrically with the likes of the very best was maybe just giving him a little bit too much credit, because really what people are seeing and now saying is that Lil Wayne's whole style is like the all-gear, no-game equivalent of a rapper. And now that the gear looks worn out and old, nobody wants anything to do with it. And so really with all of this, what we can say for sure is that despite Lil Wayne wanting to compete with Super Bowl level artists, and let's just say it, Kendrick Lamar, well, Wayne has now made what may be the most hated album of his entire career, and one that has ruined the track record of the Carter series and Wayne's reputation in general in this moment. And so now as this rollout continues and we see how this record will do further and further, to be honest, I don't even want to see how bad the reception of this thing continues to get, because it only seems like everything is only going to get a lot worse for Lil Wayne from here as the failure of this thing really sinks in. And so really, with this entire moment of the Carter 6, a lot of hip-hop is going to learn from this thing. And again, while you can point to so many other things, if Kendrick Lamar did not get the Super Bowl, and Wayne did not react the way he did, and built up so much hype for such an important record, I don't know how bad this record would still look, but I am sure that it would not be doing as bad for him as it is right now within this very moment that we are in. But overall, and we have to face the facts, now Wayne has become another multi-platinum rapper who is trapped and can't retire, to quote the great Push A, and at this point you have to admit it. Even if this guy is your GOAT, TD, he was washed. D and Snow, with all of this said, let me know, what do you think about how the lights of Kendrick Lamar's run in the Super Bowl made Lil Wayne pretty much just made one of the worst albums he ever has, and one of the worst albums rap has seen in so long? G. Andrea Lee, I with this is, what do you think the long-lasting effects of this are all going to be meaty? As this record is getting worse and worse reception by the moment, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about all of this. And now, if you made it to this point in the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And now, if you want to see how right before this went well with the initial impact of the Carter 6, Wayne already admitted that Kendrick Lamar was better than him. Check out the suggested video.